Yo, what up, sports fanatics? Welcome to the From the Grid to the Rim Sports Talk. We just want to just say welcome to this episode. Well, it's not really an episode. This is more of a how can we say an anniversary because we are
Yes.
talking about our third year and talking about NCAA. This is when we got started talking about NCAA March Madness. And what can I say? March Madness is back, and it is going to be madness as if
Yes.
everything calculates and comes together as we think it will. But other than that, let me do some introductions. I'm Dwayne Dizzy Brown, along with my co-host Big Kim Fry, along with our we call Big Uncle Monty Brown. As you
Sir.
know, this channel is where we just like to have fun and talk about sports and everything in between, from the grid to the rim. And of course, this special segment is going to be all about March Madness, as well as some segments and episodes to come. So we are going to lock you in who we think is going to the Final Four. We'll probably talk about UConn, where they're at. Can they three-peat? Maybe talk about a little bit about St. John's and Pitino and how far his squad is going to go. And we can't help but talk about Coach Izzo and how he's Mr. Final Four and how he's always keeping Michigan State in the hunt. So there's a lot to talk about in a short amount of time, but we're going to squeeze in the best way we can to just kind of enlighten you on where we're at with some of this stuff. As a lot of some of the games, the playing games start kicking off tonight. So we ain't going to hold you any longer. Gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Ken, go ahead and kick us off. What do you want? Where do we start? Do we start about talking about some of these coaches? Do we start talking about what is the hot topic today, which is mine and my Uncle Monty's Carolina Tar Heels and how
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
dogging them out and why they shouldn't be in the tournament and all that stuff and filing lawsuits and all this stuff? Do we talk about
Insane.
I don't know the 14 teams that got in from the SEC and how SEC is dominating. I mean, where do we start?
We can
SEC. Hey, wait a minute. I thought we were talking basketball, not football.
yeah, no kidding.
Right? Who would have thought? And
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we should start, man. Like SEC got
right,
14
right.
teams in it, man. They broke a record, man. Big East had like 11 teams in it, I think in 2021 or 2022, and now the SEC has 14. They broke a record. And like Monty said, they're usually like a football conference. We're talking about Alabama,
Oh,
Georgia, LSU in football, man, not like basketball. So this
I
is
mean,
crazy.
who would have thought,
Alabama
man?
and
I
Auburn
mean,
at the top. Woo, that's
say
unheard of.
again.
Alabama and Auburn top teams. That's unheard
Wow,
of. Both of them in
man,
basketball.
that's you know what? I got to give credit where credit is due, man. Shout out and big up to the SEC, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and as a fan of the ACC, I have to look at it and say, oh, how the mighty have fallen. And
Yeah. Big.
I was talking to Big Ken, and before we started the show, I was like, look, man, you know, it's hard to imagine 14 teams, but they are well deserving of it.
Yes. Everyone of them.
But it's unheard of, man. Like
Yeah.
this is the and to imagine how they're about to reshape this landscape of the tournament. And like I said, I'm just doing a dummy uh you know bracket and I have SEC teams running to each other all over the place. So
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
it's such weird. So you're looking at, when you talk about SEC, you're looking at 14 teams. When you're looking at the Big Ten, you're looking at 8 teams. When you're looking at the Big 12, 7 teams, Big East, 5 teams, ACC, 4 teams, Mountain West, 4 teams, West Coast, 2 teams. So when you really think about basketball, you're really thinking about ACC, Big Ten, Big East. But here comes SEC, the Big 12. The ones you really don't hear about too much. And when we were talking about it, I said, Ken, I think a lot of this changed. I see a lot of this change when the SEC got realigned.
Hmm.
I'll charge it to the game with that. And then the opening of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
That really started kicking into gear because,
Yeah. But
I
we talked
mean,
about that 2 years ago.
and we
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
we did, we
Transfer
did.
portal got a
Yeah.
lot to do with
And
sports, all sports,
they
football and
did.
basketball.
And
Yeah.
and
We
if
were
you're
right.
comparing to the right, and if
Yeah.
you're comparing to the league I watch the most, which is the SEC, I mean, ACC. SEC done cleaned up in the transfer
Oh, yes.
portal. When I say cleaned up, I mean cleaned up. And then comes the Big Ten and Big East right after that. So I'm giving credit where credit is due when it comes to that.
I got something to add about the SEC. I just noticed this last night looking at the bracket, like you said, Dwayne. Speaking of how good the SEC is, first 14 out of 16 teams in their conference made it, to put that, like, to show how dominant they've been. And then the biggest point I got is there's 2 number 1 seeds. Florida is the number 1 seed, and Auburn is number 1 seed. So the SEC has 2 number 1 seeds, and then Duke is the other number 1 seed in the ACC. Then Houston is the final, number 1 seed, and Houston's been number 1 seed a couple of times in the last 3 or 4 years. But I just can't believe that the SEC has 2 number 1 seeds in the tournament, man. Not 2 number 1. That's what blows my mind, man. 2 number 1 seeds, man. So that's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like the roles are reversed as far as the ACC and SEC. I mean, as far as SEC, we're used to seeing Florida. We're used to seeing Kentucky. But where people are arguing over my Tar Heels, which should they have deserved to get in?
Let's get into that, man. Let's get into that.
Let's get into it. I know you guys want to.
I didn't really know how hot of a topic. See, I knew people were going to be ticked off because they were a bubble team and first one in, first one out, and all that stuff. I had to be honest with you. I didn't have them in. I wasn't even thinking about Tar Heels. I wasn't even mentioning it after they crowned the ACC tournament. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just going to be like, okay, Duke probably going to make a run at it. I'm sure they're going to win out from here, with Cooper Flag injured and stuff like that. So I knew that if the Tar Heels didn't make a long run or at least make it to the championship game, I knew that they weren't going to get picked. But lo and behold, these jokers get picked. But I didn't know it was going to be as much outrage as it was was right now.
Didn't they make it to the championship game and lost to Duke? I thought they did make it to the championship game.
No, they lost in the semifinal.
The semi.
I
know there's some controversial where like a free throw lane violation.
Or
something
they won without Cooper Flag, man. And I can understand everybody's stance where they stand on it. I mean, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I wrote in the blog yesterday. I said, look, I'm shocked, but I'm not going to complain.
They're saying their name is what made it. Like if Michigan makes it or some other blue blood team makes it, like if Duke makes it one year and people are questioning them, they're going to say the exact same thing. It's because their name and their legacy, like how good they usually are.
I'm a Tar Heel fan, and I'm saying that. That's how they got in there. It's Carolina. And the best way they're not going to win the title. We all know that. But the best way to shut up the critics is at least get to the Sweet 16. I mean, they're going to have a harder time tonight playing as it is, just getting in the rest of the tournament. But if they can get to the Sweet 16, and okay, maybe.
Right.
Well, I got something to add to that. You got something, Dwayne? I'm sorry.
No.
Something came to my mind. I can't remember what year it was, but it was like
that's the only way they can die this down, because oh man, it kills me to see how people are just battering them. Usually when people get mad because they upset, that they didn't get in, and based on their record and quad wins and all that stuff like that, and they have legit. And usually the noise don't last that long. It lasts for about a day, and then they get over it. These media people are blasting Carolina. I mean, blasting. And
they are.
Because they're Carolina. They're a blue blood. I mean, but man, some of the interviews and the analysis I heard today.
Yeah.
I mean, man, they are giving it to them, man. I mean, they throwing flamethrowers with gasoline and.
Well, I got something.
Lighting Carolina up.
Did y'all see West Virginia's governor?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I missed that.
Oh man!
Lawsuit, really, bro?
What did he do?
Oh, he went public with it, and
why are governors going public? That's funny as hell.
Oh,
dude, your job is the people.
I think it was the governor. I think it was West Virginia's governor.
Oh my God!
West Virginia's record's not that hot either.
I think that's going too far. Like, dude, stick to what you know, bro. I mean, anyone could be a sports fan, but that's a little bit much. Here's something to shut him up though, and shut up all the other North Carolina haters. Like that's what I was gonna say. Like 20, like I think it was like 20 years ago, there was one year where North Carolina made it, and their record was worse than it was this year. They were like 17 and 15 or some crap, and they made it into the dance, and people were busting up on them. But then those jokers made it all the way to the damn Final Four. I think they lost in the Final Four of the year. But I don't know if you guys remember that. You guys are Tar Heels fans, but I remember that. I was still stationed in Japan, but I remember it was like around 20 years ago, early 2000s, and everyone was like, how in the hell did these guys get in being 18 and 15, 17 and 15, something crazy like that? And they made a run, though. So to shut them up, they just need to make a run, dude. That would shut everyone up.
Yeah. I say just get to the Sweet 16. And
exactly.
And they usually do. But yeah, they got a tough one tonight.
Right. Indeed.
That's what
we'll see. If they can win tonight, I mean, I'm still not going to be sure if that's going to sit well with everybody, but it'll at least be a start.
I mean, they won against another good team. I mean, some people are going to say so no matter what, but that's one thing I think is interesting that Dwayne and I were talking about before you got on, Monty, was two of these play-in games with 11 seeds are really effing good. I mean, like tonight, North Carolina, San Diego State. We all know what San Diego State did 2 years ago. Those jokers made it all the way to the Final Four for the first time in their school history. With their coach, the Michigan assistant coach with the Michigan coaching tree with Steve Fisher. I mean, but then tomorrow is the 11 seeds. Tomorrow is, man, I had those jokers written down. Texas and Xavier. Texas is poised. I have Texas as a personal dark horse. I think Texas is going to upset some folks. I got them winning tomorrow, and I got them making a pretty good run, getting at least to the. People might think I'm crazy, but that's what brackets are about. March Madness. I got them making it to the Sweet 16. I think they can play against Houston. I think they could possibly play against Houston, Texas matchup later on down the road.
That'd be nice. Yeah. That'd be nice. Yeah. I don't have them going that far, but I would like to see it.
That's what I'm hoping for, since we're all, El Paso, Texas brothers, Wayne in the DFW now. But
with my head,
so let's get down so let's get down to the crux of this, man, because let's go ahead and let's go ahead and jump into who we think is going to make the Final Four. I did a sketch of my bracket, so I want to just go ahead and jump in because we'll talk about Tar Heels all day. You know what I'm saying? And I'll blast the day on, and then next thing you know, we'll be out of time. So just from we'll just give our assessment. So Ken, I'll go ahead and start with you since you pretty much are, pretty much kind of jumped ahead of me and Monty and was already, doing your, scouts and stuff like that. So who do you got going to the Final Four?
Some people are gonna think I'm crazy. You guys think I'm crazy, but I got mostly blue bloods. I think this year's a blue blood year, like we're saying in pregame, Dwayne. I don't. There will be some upsets, like always, but I think it's a blue blood year, though, man. These are tough brackets. I'm hoping I want Michigan to make it, but I didn't pick them. I actually picked their rival, Michigan State. I got Michigan State. I think Izzo. I think Michigan State could possibly win the whole thing, but I got Michigan State, St. John's, Houston. I almost didn't want to pick Duke because of Cooper Flagg being hurt, but is he coming back? I can't remember if that guy's coming back or not.
I'm not sure either.
Because that's the only team I was a little bit questionable with, because Duke has been really effing good all year long, but they need Cooper Flagg to make a deep run. They could win maybe the first couple games without him, but so I got Michigan State, St. John's, Houston, and my wild card is Duke. I could be wrong. I was going to pick Alabama instead. It was either Duke or Alabama, and I don't know if Alabama could do it 2 years in a row. That's what I'm questioning. Can they do this 2 years in a row? That's who I got.
Yeah, I'm with you on Duke, Ken. I didn't put them in my Final Four because of the question, potential injury with Cooper Flagg. I have 3 SEC teams in the Final Four. Houston being the one that's not the SEC team. Houston has that defense that can just win the title. Just winning it. Got Houston, Alabama. Florida pretty much has no weakness. Top 10 offensively and defensively. 85.4 points a game and a 16.2 margin of victory. That's tough to beat.
Yeah,
That's tough.
absolutely.
So man, so my four is Auburn to play Florida and Alabama to play Houston. That's my final four.
I always think those are good picks. I always think Auburn are busters though, but maybe this year they'll do it. They've been busters, but this year they could
Yeah,
make a run. But you said something about the defense. That's why I have St. John's making Final Four. Only question about St. John's is they haven't been in the dance in a long time, but they have a Hall of Fame
right.
legendary coach in Rick Pitino, and those boys play some defense. And I watched them play
Yes.
their Big East tournament. Those boys dominated, man. They can score and they can play defense. So if they're having an off shooting night, they still got their defense, but they got good offensive players. They got the Big East Player of the Year. I think his name's R.J. Barrett.
Yeah.
He can score. They got a dominant big man who transferred from Kansas, and he was not getting any playing time at Kansas. But in the past 2 years, he's played under Rick Pitino, and this guy's on the SEC. He's like on the Big East first. Like he's like an all-star in the Big East. So that's why I got St. John's. But I know Dwayne has to make his Final Four picks. But yeah, that's why I think John's because of defense. So
yeah, you and me are about close, Ken. I got Michigan State, I got St. John's, I got Alabama, and I got Houston, and I got Houston winning the whole thing.
Nice.
I rarely see any weakness with Houston. You know, they're just golly, man. It's just they are ready. They are out for payback, man. They want to get there, bro. I think they should have won it last year. But I think they came back more vigorous, couple of pieces, you know, and I have them meeting up with St. John's in the final. I have them meeting up with St. John's in the final. And now this is subject to change, but you know, with the experience of LJ Cryer, Sharp, you know, I think it's just too much right now. They have the experience, they know what they're doing, and they are a lockdown defensive team. But to go against St. John's, I like them against St. John's because Pitino's been there before. He knows what to do. His experience is going to carry this team. And if you see how St. John's has been playing in tough games all year, that should give you another indicator on how probably low scoring this game could be.
Yeah,
you know, if they meet up in the championship.
I mean,
RJ Lewis is just a baller for St. John's. I mean, this dude is averaging 18 and 4 a game. They got some top rebounders and Zuby Ejiofor. I mean, dude, they are locked and loaded. I like Izzo going to the Final Four because he's been there. Like him and Pitino, it would just be a classic matchup. You know, for those coaches to be to go back at it again.
The amount of wins between those two guys, oh my God.
Right. So I mean, you're talking about coaching royalty when them two link up. So I mean, I love Izzo's team. He brings back a lot of experience too. Atkins, Chase Richardson. I mean, this dude has been almost, I ain't gonna say a walking triple double, but man, you would think he was getting triple doubles, every day. You know what I'm saying? So the way he's playing. So and so it's just a good matchup for me to see them go to the Final Four. You got Alabama. I mean, I think if Duke runs into Alabama, Alabama got something for them. I mean, I agree.
I got them in the Elite Eight.
It's just a different mindset. It's just a different mindset the way playing. And I seen Duke play. Duke is good, man. But Bama is just good. You know what I'm saying?
And they made it last year.
They good.
I thought that Joker was going to the NBA. Sears came back, their 3-point shooter. They still got Sears. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was gone.
So,
they still got this guy.
If I got to put matchups to matchups, I mean, Bama is, when they come to quad wins and everything. I mean, if you're comparing apples to oranges, I mean, who they had to play twice. Florida twice. They had to play Tennessee, Auburn, Carolina, A&M. I mean, their regular conference is just as hard as it is, and they're number 2. So I mean, as compared to who Duke had to play, So it's nothing against Duke. It's just that I think Bama had a tougher road, and they're well deserving of a 2 seed, if not a 1. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
those are my final 4 picks. I got Houston taking it all as of right now. I still want to do a quick review on where things stand with a couple other teams, and it's subject to change. But as of right now, I
Yes.
think that's pretty much a solid final 4.
I got.
I like
Go ahead,
your
Monty. Go
picks,
ahead, brother.
both of your
Go ahead.
picks. Oh, good. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead, Monty. You go. You first.
I like both of your picks of Michigan State, like you talked about. Izzo, probably one of my favorite coaches, if not my favorite coach in the tournament. Now he just
Absolutely.
finds a way to get his team there. They may not be the most talented, the best team overall, but they find a way.
They find a way, Don.
man.
They find a way.
They want to play for this man and they want to win for this man, and sometimes that's enough. That
Mhm.
team that won with Mateen Cleaves, that wasn't the best team in the tournament, in my opinion. They just turned it on at the right time just to win for this man. So, yeah, I mean, I like your picks with Michigan State. That's, man, I should have put them in there. But,
I
yeah,
mean, and you talking about a potential run in with Iowa State. I mean,
Yeah.
Iowa State. I'm not looking
I got
past
them
them, but
matching
Iowa
up.
State. Iowa State is as one of the best
Yes.
defenses in the nation.
yes.
And then
Yeah,
if they
they
get
made it
past
to the Elite
Iowa
Eight
State, they
last
have a
year.
potential. If they get past Iowa State, they still got another potential meeting with Auburn or
Yeah, they
A&M.
got.
You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
they do have a juggernaut. That's for sure.
So I mean, their path ain't light. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I have you know I'm not I'm almost potentially scared to say that A&M could upset Auburn.
They
So
could.
so that's going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? And if Auburn wins, that's a squeak out. So so I mean, it's just that side of the bracket is very, very tough.
It is.
Very, very tough. The only one I see with an easy path is Duke out of all them. You know what I'm saying?
Duke
But
does have an
when they
easier
meet
one
up
to
with
get to
Bama,
Alabama. Yeah.
when they meet up with Alabama, that's going to be a whole different.
Yeah, I got them meeting up in the Elite Eight. Then, yep.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah,
But,
between them and Houston, they got the easiest of paths.
I agree.
The easiest
I agree.
of paths.
Duke does have
know
an
what I'm saying?
easier path. We know Arizona.
Imagine.
Yeah.
And I was with you, Monty. I really have Florida, and I'm really looking at Florida in a potential St. John matchup, and I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna pick that.
All due respect to Florida, but man, if they meet up with St. John's, they gonna meet their match.
Yeah, I almost picked that, brother. I almost picked that.
And I may have to relook at that because that's just if that matchup happens, that's going to be must see TV, right?
Oh yeah. I got something about the coaches though, man. Speaking of coaches, since we're talking about Michigan State and St. John's, I was talking about coaches in our pregame. Rick Pitino, he is one of only 4 coaches that has taken a Final Four team in all 4 decades. Like one team in all 4 decades of coaching.
Man.
Obviously, this year St. John's, but he's taken Kentucky, he's taken Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And he had someone before his Kentucky job. I can't remember who it was, but that was his first. Yeah, he's taken 4 different teams in 4 different decades to the Final Four.
Wow.
Tom Izzo has the second most tournament wins with 56, and he's tied with Bill Self at Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Izzo's been to nine Final Fours, but he only does have the one ring. That's his one knock. Is he's been to 9 Final Fours. But he's only taken home the trophy once, the hardware. That's what I'm hoping this year he could do. That's why I'm picking Michigan State to win the whole thing. Like he's finally gonna get his second one. It's kind of like getting a second ring in the Super Bowl, man. You gotta get that second one, man. So Pitino's been to 7 Final Fours, but so Izzo's got him there, but I'm telling you, but both 2 Hall of Fame coaches like we're talking about, but the thing that sticks out with Pitino is like 4 different decades taking teams to the Final Four, absolutely insane. And they believe in him, man. Those guys believe in him, like that big man that Dwayne was alluding to. I said he's played at Kansas and hardly got any playing time. He's been at St. John's past years. That dude that dude gives all the credit to Pitino. Like they want to play for him just like they want to play for Izzo. I mean, they'll run through a wall for these two guys.
Yes. Yes.
So that could be a great matchup in the Final Four with two Hall of Fame coaches, two legends. I mean, St. John's hasn't been to the tournament in a while. That's the only thing that's kind of knocking them. But like Dwayne said, they got the coach, so they don't have the experience really player wise, but they have the coach. So
yes.
All right. As we come to the tail end, what do we see as our dark horses or Cinderellas? I have about 4 on my roster that I'm looking at, and I like I would say be careful with Michigan because the addition of Wolf and who's the other that they picked up from Dayton? Was it Dayton? So they picked up Danny Wolf and they picked up what's his name? Ken, you a Michigan fan?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. It's escaping me. I know exactly who you're talking about though.
But anyways, Michigan, I got BYU as somebody to look out for. Definitely look out for Maryland because they have with Reese and Queen two defensive rebounders like you ain't ever seen rebounders before. I would look out for them. And definitely always look out for Purdue. So I definitely got Purdue, Maryland, BYU, and Michigan as some sleepers to kind of keep an eye on. Man, who is Godin, right?
Godin, that's his name. Yep, there you go.
That Godin? Yeah, man.
That's it.
When Michigan picked up Godin and Wolf, I said, wow. I said, wow. Then the transfer portal, I said, wow. Nice pickups. So, and you can see it fared out well for them, with them being the number 5 seed in the bracket. So, yeah, I got Michigan, Maryland, BYU, and Purdue as some people to look out for.
Yeah, I just have a couple. One of my dark horses plays against Maryland. It's just something about this Grand Canyon team. They've made a run every year. Their top 6 players have NCAA experience. I think they were the only 12 seed to win last year, which usually we pick a lot of 12 seeds to win. They upset St. Mary's, and they ended up losing Alabama that next round, which is nothing to be ashamed about. But man, you have 6 of these players who've been to the tournament before, all seniors except one of them. So this experience just might put them over the top. I have them just pulling that upset on Maryland, with Colorado State pulling an upset at Memphis, and we have a 12-13 matchup in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Far-fetched, I know, but I think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
Another one I have is a lot of people's been talking about Drake. Drake beating Missouri.
I got them.
Missouri. I think I got it. That's another one. Just that one, though. Just that one. Once they meet Texas Tech in the second round, it'll be all she wrote for that. But those are my 2 upset specials for the first round.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go over mine, and I think the 5, 12, 6, 11, some of the upsets is another good subject maybe to talk about next if you guys want to. But my sleepers, my dark horses, Monty already mentioned one team, Drake. I got Drake in there again. Drake. Last couple of years, they've always won their first round games. I think 2 years ago they went to the Sweet 16, so they always seem to upset someone in the first round. Obviously, my boys, Michigan. I don't know if they're really a dark horse because Michigan's a big name, but they didn't make the tournament last year. So their new head coach has done well taking over, getting them in, then they won a Big Ten tournament this year. So that was nice to see them pull that off. I already mentioned Texas. I think but obviously they got to win the first game tomorrow night. They got beat Xavier. I think Texas might make some noise. I got Texas upsetting Kentucky. So I think Texas can make a run, man. And I already said I'd like to see a Texas-Houston matchup. I don't know if that would happen, but I got Texas. And then I had another. Do you guys think – I got circled. I don't know if they could do it, but McNeese State, they've made some noise in the past. Do you think McNeese State can upset Clemson in this 5-12 matchup?
It seems like they're in the tournament every year. They find a way in the tournament every year. Man, that might be possible. Yeah.
That's who I got. Those are the real dark horses. McNeese State and Drake are the real dark horses. The other ones are kind of more mid-major-ish. And I do have Maryland like Dwayne. I think Maryland – I forgot to mention them. I do have Maryland getting pretty far. I have Maryland matching up with Florida later on in my bracket.
That would be a good matchup.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, that McNeese State Clemson's another 12-5 matchup that we talked about. Well, as pulling that upset off, or if you want to call them upsets. No, it happens so often. But yeah, it's possible.
It happens a lot, and I got stats on that. But yeah, it's hard to pick which one though. That's the thing, man.
Yeah.
The 5-12 and the 6-11, those are the big ones, man. That's why I don't like that my boys Michigan are a freaking 5 seed. I'm like, can't they be some other damn seed? Like, but yeah, hopefully Michigan can pull it off. But I got stats on that 5-12 and 6-11, man. Like, so March Madness since the 64-team field in 1985, there's been 61-11 seeds to pull upsets in the first round, 39.1%. 6-11 is the highest one, and the 5-12 is next. The 5-12, there's been 55 upsets in the first round, and the 6-11 is 61. So the 6-11's got them by 6 games, but those are the two biggest.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both well over 30-some%. I mean, 6-11, the 6-11 seed, 39%. That's almost 40%, man.
Yeah.
And then lately, the 13 and 14 seeds have been making some noise like the last 3 or 4 years. Their numbers aren't as high, but the 13, 14s have been making it past the first round. It happened last year. I think a couple of 13 seeds made it into the second round. So those are the four seeds to watch out for is 11, 12, and lately the 13, 14 seeds when people are making their picks out there about. But you got to pick the right ones. You know, if you get them wrong, then your bracket's all screwed up. You got to try to pick those, but those are the hot spots where to pick, first round matchups in the history of this game, history of this sport, history of March Madness, man.
Well, if it wasn't for so many SEC teams in this tournament.
I agree. I
may throw the dice on an 11 or so, but it's hard to. It's hard to picture it, man. It's hard to do it this time around because the SEC teams done changed the whole landscape of this tournament, man.
I'm talking about just winning the first round though, because I don't think any of the first round games are against the SEC teams in the 5, 12, 6, 11. Maybe a couple of them are, but most of them aren't against SEC teams. But they got to face SEC teams later, like you're saying, and that's when they'll probably lose.
Right.
But my question is as good as
that's all I'm saying. And I could be wrong, but I'm just saying it's just like.
What if the SEC teams have no one in the Final Four out of 14? That would be crazy. I think that could happen. I mean, I know you guys got Alabama, and Alabama could very well beat Duke. Yeah. That was my like I said, I didn't know how to pick that one with Cooper Flagg being hurt. I picked Duke anyway. I'm just hoping Cooper Flagg comes back. But Duke is still really good without him. They saw that in the big.
Very good.
Oh no, that's a given. But the question becomes how long could that last?
Yeah, I know. How far can it go?
Because eventually you're going to match up. Eventually you're going to match up well with somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Duke is deserving of number one, but they ain't dominant. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
no, they're not.
I mean,
and
they're going to meet somebody that's going to play better defense than a Carolina or a Miami or a Virginia or they got to match up with the other people, you know what I'm saying? So it's just how long when they run into somebody that can go pound for pound with them, you know what I'm saying? So, how many times have we seen Duke, go into the tournament with the expectation of a high ranking and didn't make it all the way, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the SEC is just changing a lot of this landscape. And when you look at a lot of these SEC teams, they're a lot of defensive-minded teams as well. Mm-hmm. So, if you go run into a Tennessee, if you run into a Bama, you run into a Auburn, it's just they're, a lot of them got that defensive-minded, good front courts. Experienced backcourts. I mean, so it's just like I said. For me, I would love to take a dive on an 11, on a 14, But yeah.
No, I don't got them making it far, but they like to get out of the first round though. But
sure. I don't. Yeah, I'm with you there, bro. I'm with you there. So yeah, man. I mean, I think it's going to be a wild one. But as far as my final four picks, that's kind of where I'm at, man.
Monty, who did you say you had winning it all? You mentioned your teams, but who did you say you had winning it?
I have Florida winning it all. Yeah, I like that team a lot, man. It should be a good matchup. Yeah, I have them matched up with Houston. I hate to pick against Houston, but man, I've seen Florida play, and they're a bunch of dogs, man. So is Houston.
No,
Oh
no,
yeah.
they are doggish. I'm
Yeah,
not putting anything past Florida. If they make it to the Final Four, kudos, because if they run into St. John's, that was just such a hard pick for
it will
me.
be. It would be. I
Such a
agree.
hard pick. That could go either way. They could go either way. So
Yeah.
I'm about to sit here and dog out Florida for nothing because they are well deserving
Yeah,
of their status. And if they go to the championship, I don't think nobody should be surprised.
yeah.
Uh, but like I said, in my opinion, I seen how Pitino Knight likes to rally the troops when it comes down to tournament time. I think, this is a big stage for him to
Mhm.
get to this point because I know he wants to kind of be back in the eyes of and be in the good graces of the public eye,
Yes, yes.
and really do well in this tournament. So I mean, I'm rooting for him.
Monty, who you got? I got a question for you since you're in New Mexico, man. You got New Mexico. You got New Mexico with some redemption from last year, and that you think they can beat Shaka
I'd like to
Smart.
see it. I don't know
They
if
have
you
a
guys know
7-10
this.
matchup. 7-10 teams are hard to beat. Those 7-10s, 8 and 9,
Yeah,
those are a flip of a coin, man. Especially the 8 and 9.
yeah. This local team's pretty sharp, man. They're good. I don't have them winning this first round. I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but Rick Pitino's brother coaches this team.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. His younger
Oh,
brother coaches.
nice.
Yeah, so yeah, people down here are real excited about it. That's for sure. But just being here, I would like to see it. I don't have them picked for it, but yeah, it'd be cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was debating on that one. I mean, obviously Shaka Smart's a really good coach and everything, and
Yes,
he took VCU to the Final Four back in the day. VCU is another dark horse. I forgot to mention they have a tough
yes, oh
round matchup
yes,
against BYU, the 6-11. Like I said, where there's a lot of upsets, but I think BYU would squeak that one out though. But
hmm
that could be another really good freaking game though. But yeah, Shaka Smart hasn't done anything lately though in the last like several years. So I'm wondering if New Mexico can get by him because I mean Shaka Smart had his. I mean he's still a great coach, but the last few years he's kind of tailed off in March Madness,
yes.
and um, so I wonder if Shaka Smart can kind of regain his old posture, or is New Mexico gonna knock him out in the first
Yeah,
round?
yeah. Marquette's always tough, man. I mean, they're another one of those teams that make a run. So yeah,
They
Oh yeah.
can, they
Yeah.
can.
I mean, yeah, Marquette is always going to make a statement when they're going to play you um from rim to rim. Them
yeah,
boys, and they've been there before. So I
yeah,
mean, it's just
They got experience.
they got a wealth of experience on that squad right there. What's his name?
yeah.
Cam, something he scored like 30 points.
Cam
Cam, the
Jones.
left-handed shooter, yeah, the guard, yeah, he's really
Yeah,
good.
dog. Yo, that man right there is a dog.
Yeah,
That man right there is a dog. He can
left-handed
play.
dudes are hard to stop, man. A different angle, like he's got that left hand, he can shoot and he can
Yeah.
drive. Yeah, Cam, something. I
Uh,
knew exactly what you're talking about. I've seen him
oh,
play.
bruh. I'm trying to tell you, dog. Yeah, Cam Jones, dog.
Cam
Oh,
Jones.
golly, dog. Dog, and he's averaging almost 20 points a game too, man, bro. That dude is a dog.
Yeah, they got Joplin too, who's like a good power forward, kind of
Yeah.
slash
Yeah,
three.
yeah,
He can play down low, but he could also shoot threes. Joplin's pretty good.
Yeah.
The one
yeah.
thing that's hurt him is that point guard they lost. What was his name? Kohler or something. Kohler's not there anymore. He went to the NBA. I think he went to the NBA or he's playing in G League or something, but he's gone. He was their point guard last year, and so that's the one person they're missing from
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
year's team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if New Mexico was playing somebody else besides Marquette, I might have picked him. But yeah, just Marquette's is too tough of a matchup, I think.
It's hard. That's a hard first round matchup, man. Ain't no doubt about that, man. Ain't no doubt. What
Yeah.
I know we're talking about a bunch of crazy second round games. You guys want to talk about that? Or you guys want end? What do you guys want to do? Talk about something else? End it? What do you want to do? Second round talk? Maybe potential second round subjects?
Well, if you're looking at classic second round matchups, it's golly. How about Auburn and Creighton? For me,
Yeah. Or Louisville. I got Auburn and Creighton, but it could be Louisville.
Shoot.
Yeah.
You're looking at Duke and Mississippi State. Mississippi State ain't no pushover.
Nope.
I think they'll give Duke all they can handle. I got Duke winning it, but I think they're gonna give Duke all they can handle.
Oh yeah.
So it's some intriguing matchups. When you look at the second round, Michigan State and Marquette. Vanderbilt and Alabama.
And now the matchup from last year, Michigan State.
When I tell you the second round is going to feel like a Sweet 16 matchup, I'm not lying when you're looking at some of these matchups. You know what I'm saying? Clemson and Purdue. Golly, man. Kansas and St. John's in the second round.
Florida, UConn. Houston, Gonzaga.
Like I said earlier, who put them in the same bracket, in the same region? It's too early for that.
Texas Tech and Mizzou. Dog, this is gonna feel like the Sweet 16 came early.
Yeah.
Listen. This is where I'm going to keep my eyes on. I really want to see this matchup. Memphis and Maryland.
Yeah.
That looks like it's going to be a good one. That is going to be a good one. That has the potential for a high scoring game. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to come down to rebounds when you're playing that game. And if we're talking rebounds, I give Maryland the edge because of Reese and Queen. You know what I'm saying? Them boys is
they're physical, man.
A rebound bomb,
all Big Ten teams are
physical.
Machines. Yeah, they're very physical.
Yeah, very physical. So, my goodness gracious. So, second round is just full of potential. Michigan and A&M, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. My boys, hope they can get past that one, man. But
so these are all potential second round matchups that you're looking at. That's going to already feel like the Sweet 16 already came early. So it's you talk about Heartbreak Hotel up in this piece. It's getting tough. That's what I'm saying. SEC teams, because they got so many in there, it just changed the landscape on how you really got to view your bracket.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this. But before that, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna piggyback on something you said, Dwayne. That was interesting. That Michigan State Marquette potential matchup. That was a matchup in the second round last year. Michigan State gave them a pretty good butt whooping. So I wonder if Marquette's looking at that game. But Michigan State made it to the Sweet 16 last year. But Michigan State handled them pretty well.
Potentially.
But this is my question. 14 teams of the SEC in the tournament. How many do you guys think make the Sweet 16 out of 14? You don't gotta give me which team, but just how many, just a number. Or you can give me teams if you want. But I'm wondering how many out of the 14 are going to be in the Sweet 16, because that will determine how successful they have been in the first two rounds, and of course, then going from there all the way to the Elite Eight and Final Four. But we know the Sweet 16 is kind of like the first benchmark, kind of like the first big moment of the tournament where teams get a break for 4 or 5 days.
If I go by my bracket, I have 5 left by the time they get to the Sweet 16, if I'm counting right.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the 14, 5 will be in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say maybe that's hard, Ken.
I know you don't gotta answer if you don't want to, but I'll be wondering, man.
Yeah, that's
so
I've got 5 too. I got 5.
Yeah, it ain't many. They ain't gonna take up the whole Sweet 16. I know that much. I got about maybe 5 or 6, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 5.
Because you got to understand, some of these jokers are going to run into each other.
That's what I'm saying. That's not all their fault.
Each other out.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So, you know,
because, of course, there's like the powerhouses, Alabama, Texas and Tennessee got to play, and now Texas is in the SEC. They weren't until this year. So Texas and Tennessee could potentially match up, like you said, two, SEC teams matching up.
You got a potential matchup with Auburn and A&M, potentially,
or hopefully it's my boys Michigan, but yeah, it could be A&M instead.
Yeah, you got Tennessee and Kentucky potentially, so you got some of these jokers running into each other along the way potentially. So I mean, maybe five, six, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, Tennessee and Kentucky.
I don't see that many, I don't see, what I'm saying, but maybe five, maybe.
Yeah, I think the ones that we're confident on is probably everyone's talking about is Alabama. Alabama. Everyone seems to be really confident, in today's show with Alabama and another one in Florida. People seem to be really confident about those two SEC teams and maybe Auburn. I'm hoping they can get upset. Like Auburn's been jokers in the tournament, in my opinion, but this year could be the year where what's his name, the coach that sweats all damn time. I know his name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but he sweats through like 5 shirts in one freaking game.
Yeah.
Pearl, whatever his name is, Bruce Pearl.
There you go.
He might finally answer the call because he's had some good teams in the past before, and they always seem to get out.
Yes.
So
yes. Yeah.
But I trust Alabama and I trust Florida. Those are the two I trust. And everyone knows how much I hate Alabama in football, but this is basketball, so I'll give them some grace. I'm trying to think of different sports. But in football, I hope Alabama loses every freaking year. And I'm so glad my boy Michigan beat them in the bowl game. I'm like, screw those guys. So, but I do like their quarterback. They have a really good quarterback. I like Alabama's quarterback. He's a good kid, but he's playing for the wrong damn team. So that's his only problem.
That's fire. Did you hear that, Brad?
Yeah. Sorry, Brad. And Brad made a damn post about this. He's like, I might watch basketball now because 14 teams in the tournament. I'm like, oh, this is so Brad. I'm going to smack him. That was a shot fired at me. I'm like, that's Brad.
Oh, man.
You don't talk about no basketball until the SEC is in it. I'm like, that's Brad. So,
Brad, I'm neutral, bro.
Yeah, he fired the first shot. I'm like, Roger that, Brad. But I love Brad, man. Going back to our Parkland High School. Man. Parkland High School, Matadors, we're all graduates of Parkland High School, Paso, Texas, if you guys don't know, and Brad is one of them. So
go Matadors.
Go Matadors, man. That's how we all got to know each other. Just for some history about us, we all met. I don't want to say how long ago, but we met in El Paso, Texas, Parkland High School stomping grounds back in the day.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, let's close this out. Closing comments. I'll go ahead and start off first. I would like to close and talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels. To the general public out there, please get over it.
Yep.
I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I wasn't expecting them to be in there in any way either. But it's over now. The pig is made. You know what I'm saying? When you start threatening lawsuits and you want to just go ahead and flame them up. Do your job. Comment, analysis, quad wins, whatever you got to do. But what's done is done. We got to get over it. And so maybe you'll have your wish. Maybe they crash out tonight. Maybe they don't. I'm just as shocked as you are, and I'm a fan. But at the end of the day, to the general public, please get over it. Let's move on. Let's just deal with it. Nobody's going to be happy when it comes down to
it's always like that.
No, nobody's ever going to be happy about bubble picks. So let's just deal with it. Let's get over it. You know what I'm saying? And let's just move forward. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you'll get your wish. They crash out early. And maybe you won't. But please, stop talking about my Tar Heels.
There you go. I support you on that.
Yes. Boy, it's tough to follow that one, but I will. Man, a lot of things are coming this tournament, man, and I'm just waiting to see what happens. you know how these first and second rounds can get. They can get pretty wild. Last second shots, stuff like that, which I'm hoping we'll see a couple. So, man, I can't wait. It's got to be exciting. It's got to be exciting. Hopefully starting tonight. Right now we got the St. Francis St. Alabama game, the 2-16 matchups.
Yeah.
With St. Francis up 50-46. For those of you who
All
want
right,
to know,
it's getting off to a good start. Close game.
Hey,
Close game so
it's
far.
starting tonight. So we may see last second shot now. 12 minutes left, second round. Who knows? March Madness, fellas. March Madness.
Yeah, I agree with
what you got for us, brother.
Oh, I agree with Dwayne. Yeah, I have nothing against North Carolina, and I'll say this: it's just like the college football playoffs. If you're the last team to get snubbed, you're always going to be pissed. So like for a long time, college football playoffs only had 4 teams, and this year they finally went to 12, which is great. That's great for college football. But then I'm sure the 13th and 14th ranked teams were pissed off, like I should have been the 12th seed.
Yes.
My point is, I think it's always like that. It's never going to change. Like if you are the bubble, like the first 4 out and not the first 4 in, then I think you're pissed off. So it just is what it is. And I will say this, since I'm always an official, and I wasn't going to go to football official training tonight, but if you want to become a local official, think you know the game, basketball, football, whatever the case may be, I got to put that out there. So join your local official organizations. You think you know the game, don't tell us from the stands, tell us from the court, tell us from the field, help us make the calls. If you think you can do it, make the calls on the field. I don't want to hear you from 50 rows up saying I suck. Well, if you can do any better, brother, then come on down here. So I said that one time, and it shut him up. I'm like, if you do any better, man, you come right here and take my spot. He's like, no, yeah, that's what I thought. So, so do officials make mistakes? Absolutely. But that's how you learn and grow. We always have our first games, our first years, and big games, and sometimes there's some 50-50 calls. It could go either way. It's not always like so easy to make a decision. So that's my shout out, is join your officials organization. And yeah, I think March Madness is going to be fun. I don't think there's going to be many I think there's going to be a lot more blue bloods this year, and not as many Cinderellas, kind of like we're talking about at the beginning of the show. I think it's a blue blood year. So that's what I got. And I hope we see some good basketball games, man. So
amen to that.
Right.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, brothers, let's go ahead and close out. So to our fans, to everybody out there, subscribe to the channel. We just want to say thank you. On this episode of From the Grid to the Rim, we are always excited when it comes down to tourney time. This is where we kind of, ante up, analyze up, and we are definitely going to be looking forward to the second round, because I believe the second round is going to have a lot to offer, a lot of upsets to offer, and a lot of juicy matchups to offer as well. So in closing, all right, all we want to do is just say thank you for joining us for this episode of From the Grid to the Rim, and everything in between. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click that like button, show us some love, leave a comment so we can interact and hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Other than that, we'll see you on the next episode of From the Grid to the Rim.
Peace out.
Enjoy.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing.
Thank you.